Hello everybody and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope you're doing well, and today we'll be doing a box office preview for some more movies that just got some updates, including the movie 65, about a film set 65 million years ago with people from the future, featuring Adam Driver, which, let's just say these early numbers are indicating that this film could be a massive flop, unless, of course, it is able to perform in the international market, which I am assuming it will definitely play better there than here in the domestic market, just based off of, typical trends when it comes to films like it and its performance domestic versus international. We'll also talk about a couple of newcomers to the forecasting here, also coming in with Champions, which is a film that I had not yet heard of, and then also Scream 6. I don't quite understand why they're making more of these. People are obviously going to see them. The budgets stay low enough to the point where right now we can project that the film likely will make its money back pretty easily when you add in not only what is projected domestically, but also any likely international returns as well, even though they won't be as high as the domestic. It's just, let's just say it's a good situation going on currently right now for the prospects for Scream 6. So before we go any further, though, please make sure you smash that like button, like that fire button, honestly, and smash the rumble button as well. And also make sure that you are subscribed to the channel with the bell notification on turned on. That way you know every time a new video or live stream goes live on the channel. All right, so again, we have covered previously, and so check out the video from the previous week if you want to find out my thoughts about the expected numbers for Ant-Man Quantumania, for Marlowe, Cocaine Bear, things like that. But we do still have now some numbers for 65. And so this, to me, is definitely the biggest one of the bunch, because this is expected to make between $8 and $13 million domestically in its opening, for a total projected right now from Box Office Pro of 26 to 47. And the reason why that's really bad is because right now the projected budget for this 87-minute movie, so not even an hour and a half, $91 million. Now, obviously, that's because they spent a lot of money on CGI dinosaurs. And that's what's the most interesting aspect about all of this, is that typically when you think about CGI dinosaur films, the ones that come to mind are the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies. More recently, Jurassic World, even the most recent one, which was a terrible actual movie, was still able to make about $1 billion at the box office when all was said and done. What's the most interesting is that this film is not projected to be doing really anything domestically. And so if this film is actually going to make its money back, and if it is actually going to be an international hit, that's going to be some of the largest discrepancies between the amount of money made domestically and internationally that we'll probably have seen in quite a long time, because a total domestic range of 26 to 47 million based on a $90 million budget, that's danger, Will Robinson, right? And you have to keep in mind that typically films need to make around 2.5 times their budget in order to make their money back. 26 to 47 million isn't even cutting that. That's not even getting to half of the budget. And let's just say that movie is not in a very good position, which is sad, because I know that it's a film that people have interest in. It was on one of my anticipated movies of the year list, where I thought, hey, maybe this film could be fun. Maybe this film could end up being a good time, or it could be trash. And so some of these early numbers might indicate that maybe it'll be towards the latter part of that category. Who knows exactly where this film will end up when all is said and done. We also have the film Champions, which is a film that I had not heard of until now. Woody Harrelson is in this film playing a coach. This is an upcoming American comedy sports film directed by Bob Ferrelli in his solo directorial debut. So this is the guy that did Dumb and Dumber, Shallow, Hal, Me, Myself, and Irene. So I know the Ferrelli brothers and the stuff that they have done. It's an English language remake of the 2018 Spanish film of the same name, with Caitlin Olsen in the movie. This, of course, from Always Sunny fame, Ernie Hudson. Oh, I love me some Ernie Hudson. And Cheech, from Cheech and Chong as well. It's apparently a temperamental minor league basketball coach finds himself in legal trouble. In order to satisfy a community service requirement, he finds himself coaching a basketball team consisting of players with intellectual disabilities. So I'm getting kind of Ringer vibes from this in a certain respect. So who knows if it's going to be to that same extent, where they're trying to essentially play on the tropes, but in order to teach, right, in order to be able to try to bring to light certain issues. That's definitely what The Ringer did. One of the really cool things that The Ringer did is, as raunchy as that comedy was, it ended up doing a lot to bring attention to those with special needs and to raise money for those with special needs as well. I'm wondering if this film is going to do the same thing, maybe just not as raunchy as or as kind of shock humor as The Ringer was. So this should definitely be interesting to see how this actually plays out, but no projected budget yet for this movie. But this film is expected to open to $4 to $9 million, expected to get 14 to 44 million domestically. And it's movies like this that, honestly, if it's a well-made movie, especially with someone like Woody Harrelson at the helm, if it gets a lot of attention, if it gets a lot of positive attention, And if it's able to do what it wants to do effectively, you could have a really good, strong word-of-mouth campaign on the movie that could end up pushing these numbers to be a lot higher than what they're currently projected to be, right? 14 to 44 is a pretty wide range there. I can't imagine that this film costs all that much money to make, right? Films like that have more of this independent feel, I wouldn't be surprised if it costs sub $30 million or so. And if that is indeed the case, then it might have a good chance of being able to make its money back. And again, word of mouth might be the ultimate thing that either makes or breaks the movie. Basically, that just depends and really determines or is dependent upon whether the film is good or not. So if the film's good, hey, then we might see some higher numbers there. But if the film is not good, or if it's just your typical standard film fare, then obviously that could have a negative impact on the long run and on the returns of that film. And then lastly, you have Scream 6, and I know that there are definitely people out there that care about Scream 6. I am not one of those persons, but this film is projected to make $24 to $33 million, so clearly there are people that are a part of this market, right? A lot of these numbers are based off of early ticket sales, or based off of, if it's too far out from early ticket sales, then usually they're going to be based upon things such as early social media buzz, etc., which are always hard to quantify. They also will typically take whatever the previous film, if it's in a franchise, or a comparable film that was in, that's in a comparable film within a certain category, and they'll try to basically, read the tea leaves as they were, and they'll update these, right? We're still about a month out from all of these films getting released, and so these numbers will update as the course of time goes on. But ultimately with Scream 5, this film cost $35 million to make, so definitely not a high budget for the movie. And these films tend to make at least $100 million at the box office, and so this film will definitely be able to make its money back. As you can see, the projected domestic total is $54 to $80 million. And if it even just makes a couple of $1 million here or there when it comes to the international numbers, then that will ultimately be very good news for this film going forward. So obviously this is a follow-up to Scream 5, and again, I don't quite understand why this franchise is still going on. I remember that there were a lot of Scream fans when I was covering Scream 5's box office that were like, oh my goodness, why are you hating this movie, or why are you blah blah blah, and it's like, hey, it's just because I saw the first one, I thought it was fine, and then pretty much everything since then has not really made that much sense to me. So Scream 4, which was back in 2011, that cost $40 million, made $97.2 million without adjusting for inflation, of course, because as we all know, that is indeed a very important factor if we're going to try to get any type of, general understanding of the film. Let me see if I can try and pull up the numbers for Scream 5 real quick, just to make sure that we are on the same page with this movie. I bet that this is when they started using the Roman numerals. Let us go ahead and see if we can find this. Let's see, Scream. Did it really just come out 2022? That's right, it did. I forgot. It got nominated for a Raven Award, actually, for most underrated film of the year, I believe. So, so Scream 5, that movie came out last year. So this film cost $24 million and ended up making $140 million worldwide when everything was said and done. So I guess that they are expecting, and again, interesting that the film is coming out just 1 year after. I guess they were filming them around the same time, or it just doesn't really take them a long time to be able to film those movies. But with that, again, clearly they are expecting this film to be doing as well as, or maybe even better than that of Scream 5. And so interesting numbers, very, very good looking numbers for this film. To say the very least at this point in its release. So anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Are you excited for the films 65, Champions, or Scream 6? Again, I had not heard of that film Champions, but that's definitely a film that I feel like I would enjoy going to see. Feels like a film that, if it's done well, could definitely pull at the heartstrings and could definitely have some good moral messaging to it. As you all know, I do like that in movies, especially when it's done well and it's not done in too much of a preachy way. It's actually one of the reasons why I appreciate films like The Ringer. Even as raunchy as it is and even as offensive as it can be, it has a heart to it. It's kind of similar to like South Park. I like South Park because of that same reason as well. Even my parents like South Park because there's this moral underpinning that exists even within the raunchiest of episodes. But anyway, what are y'all's thoughts about this? Do you plan on going to see 65, Champions, or Scream 6? Let me know in the comment section down below, especially the number for 65. Again, that's abysmal. Again, a $98 million budget, that, it would have to make a crap ton of money internationally in order for it to make its money back. And again, typically when we see the differences between domestic numbers, international numbers, we usually don't see that wide of a gap, the kind of gap that we would need to see for this film to make its money back. And so let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section down below. If you like this video, smash that like button, that fire button, honestly, and smash the rumble button as well. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Also, a shout out to the R who became a member. Again, shout out to you, good sir. I'll try and get you into the February shout outs video at some point. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge special shout out to all of my Patreon, locals, and Subscribe Star members who are at the Keeper the Bifrost level and above, starting off with Father Luca Illick, Garrett Searles, Chris from the 80s, who you can check out over on YouTube by the same name, Hymir Irie Hymason, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Orange at Reviews, who you can check out at his YouTube channel by the same name as well, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Rosetta Allen, who you can check out at her YouTube channel, Eagle Rider, and Miss Martin Muses, which goes by the same name on YouTube. Thank you all very much for supporting me over on Patreon. And also for my Subscribe Star peeps, we got Matt317. Check out his Twitch channel by the same name. Fast Reaction, Mr. Roy, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and ZK-Man, who you can check out over at xtheboundaries.co. And also lastly to my locals members, starting off with Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan, How About a Hockey Player, J.H. Schwalbach, Brett D90, and the amazing lawyer Robert Barnes. Thank you all very much for supporting me for the month of February. You guys are all fantastic. If you want your name shouted out, access to exclusive podcasts, and exclusive giveaways, check out the top link in the video description below. Anyway, you guys are all great. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody. And as always, God bless.